What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another YouTube video. My name is Mike. I'm a full-time used new media seller. I go around the thrift stores like the one we're going to stop in today, scan all the books, CDs, DVDs with my little Bluetooth scanner here. I also scan other new items that sell on Amazon, and I primarily sell on Amazon in comparison to eBay. Today we are outside of a little tiny thrift shop in Columbia, Pennsylvania. So this one here, they usually don't have a lot, but I haven't been here in about a month or so because with some of the smaller stores, it takes a while for them to kind of turn over the inventory. And that's kind of going to lead us into the topic we're going to cover when we get out of here. How often do I go to the same thrift stores, and how often should you go? And how many thrift stores I think you need to have in your area or on your route to make this business turn into something full-time and make you a nice chunk of money. So if you're interested in being around like-minded, brainless Bluetooth scanners like myself and over 100 other people, join the channel. $2.99, private Discord, weekly Zoom calls, direct access to the used book guide 24/7. 3 a.m. you message me and I respond within 10 seconds. Not really, I'm asleep. I'll get to you in the morning. But anyways, yeah, so let's get in here. You'll see my my phone screen while I'm just in there scanning. And hopefully, you know, this place has been hit or miss for me lately. It's either really good or really bad. They do have super low prices. I'm talking like 35 cents, 45-cent books. So hopefully that hasn't changed in the past month. I'm shutting up. I got to put quarters in the meter. Let's go. All right, we are back from Columbia Reuse It. And like I said, right, that place is, you know, you can tell it doesn't get a lot of donations. A lot of the stuff, you know, a lot of the CDs and DVDs are like stolen. It's not in the best of areas, but we found one whopping book. Pop it up here for you. At least we'll make $40 off it. Like I said, they price things, I don't know how they figure it out, but 60 cents, right? So this will make us $40, FBA, not too shabby, maturity. What are you gonna do, right? That's the reality of thrifting. There's no guarantee in the thrifting game, unfortunately. Now we're kind of going to jump into the topic, right? How many sources do I have? Last time I looked, I have right around 50 different sources. It hasn't been, I haven't updated in a while. I probably should. I'll also pop up, a few pictures of the spreadsheet where I track all my different sources. And that's a lot of different places to source from, right? And your sources aren't just your thrift stores, your library. Craigslist is a source for me. The library is a source for me. So it's just not your thrift stores, pawn shops, things like that. Now, if we really break it down, I try to think about what's the least amount of sources you can have to have a profitable book business. You could argue that it's one, right? Maybe you live by the biggest library in the country and you have you get the donation overflow. You would only need one source. But in honesty, if you're going to go off thrift stores, depending on how good or bad they are, you're going to need at least 25 minimum. Maybe if you're just going to do media, or if you're just doing books, it's going to be even higher. So when you're making a decision to start a business, or maybe you're not getting results, maybe you started selling books and you're not seeing the results you want, the only way to increase your results is to increase your sources if you're relying on thrift stores. So how do you do that? Well, that just means you got to drive farther out. Maybe instead of driving 1 hour, you're driving 2 hours to the next town over, 3 hours. And that's just like the real aspect of having a thrifting business. You have to always be driving. And that's why the appeal of some of these other business models where you can source from home, it's real appealing to people that have driven 2 hours one way, 3 hours one way to a big book sale. It takes its toll, honestly. When you're driving an hour one way, my furthest is like an hour and 15, depending on traffic. It could be closer to 2 hours, and you don't find anything. It's kind of, it sucks. There's no way to spin it. It sucks when you drive that far and you don't find much. And even when you drive that far and you do find items, it's taxing, right? You're sitting in that car for that long. The gas, a lot of people starting out, they don't have a lot of money to put into the business. So the gas, the car wear, maybe you have an older car, you're not driving a brand new Lamborghini like myself. So you have to basically figure out ways to increase your sources locally, right? Whether you're doing bulk buys off Craigslist, Nextdoor, Facebook, all of those places, that's going to be less driving, more inventory at a cheaper rate. And if you can find a way to make money on the stuff that isn't worth anything, just your run-of-the-mill junk, then so be it, right? That's even better. But the trade-off is your time. You got to value your time with this, right? Are you, I would argue hiring a scouter would be, if I had a scouter, it'd be better than me scouting, right? I can use my time better. Scouting is it's an important job. You got to do it, but it's not like you need some kind of, degree to be a scouter. You just basically can build it into your app and then scan. You really don't need the information. So if you're in one of those situations where maybe you don't have a lot of sources, start thinking outside the box. Maybe you hire, maybe you live 4 hours from the city, right? Philly's basically 2.5 hours. Maybe I hire somebody down in Philly to be a book scouter, and maybe they either mail the books to me, or you can even have them list and send it into Amazon and you pay them per item. There's a million different ways to kind of get out of the rat race of just you're always thrifting. You're 5 days a week, 7 days. When I first started, I was probably thrifting 5-6 days a week. Now I got it down to about between 2 and 4 on the higher end. That just came with time, right? Changing my routes. What routes are most efficient? If I'm going all the way out that way, how many stores can I hit in one go? But even at 3 days, 4 days a week, it still takes its toll when you're driving a whole bunch to and from these stores. Yes, it is exciting when you're finding a lot, but that's not the reality of it, right? You're not, thrifting is more harder. Is harder than it's ever been, in my opinion, because there's so many people out there reselling. There's so many stores out there scanning, this kind of stuff. And you're not going to have 50 mom and pops. If I went through my sourcing list, I'm sure half of it is Goodwill and Salvation Army and Community Aid. Thankfully, they don't scan yet, but Salvation Army and Goodwill, 95% of those stores scan. So it's like half my sources probably suck. Like if I had to grade them, half of my sources are probably D, F. There's only a few of them, maybe 5 of them that are in the A category. So it's like you're always going to have a lot more sources that are kind of iffy, or just suck than compared to your good ones. So you always have to be trying to think outside the box, hooking up with a clean out company, estate sale company, where the books are always going to be coming to you. That's how we survive in this business. So I got around 50 sources. I'm curious to see how many sources you have if you track them. Drop them down below. Just give me a number, right? Maybe you got 100 different sources, 200 different sources. Maybe you're that person that's only got one source, right? So as always, I appreciate you watching. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more used book videos. Bye-bye.